Ansary here, coming to you on December 15th, 2015 from northern New Mexico. It's very cold and windy outside, but we have some sunshine, and I have a microphone to protect against the wind. So I want to talk about the Alex Jones deception in this part 9 video, and I'm trying my best to break it down topic by topic instead of jumping all over the place. That's why I'm doing so many videos. But for a lot of us, it was hard to see Alex Jones as some sort of Trojan horse years ago because of all the good work that he did. And now, it's a little bit more clear and disturbing. Seeing the direction that he's on, the far-right direction, his alliance with Donald Trump, also seeing the rise in white supremacist far-right movements across the globe. For years, many of us defending Alex Jones. Oh no, Alex Jones isn't with them. But he's made everything so racial in not only recent months, but recent years. And it's been building and building and building. Also, Alex Jones has shown signs to me of demonic possession. Now, I understand that's above and beyond what some people are willing to believe. That's not going to stop me from expressing that perspective in this video series. And it's a perspective that hasn't really been shared in a world where there's a lot of wild goose chases concerning Alex Jones CIA, Alex Jones Vatican assassin, Alex Jones the Jew, Alex Jones his wife, also the Jew, dual citizenship, all these theories that may have a little bit of truth but miss the point. That you can sell out, but sometimes you can sell out to evil itself, to greed. And when you bed down with evil, when you become greedy, when you become deceitful, when you become dishonest, when you become insightful, when you knowingly lead your audience down a deception, you bathe in evil. You become that evil. And so the very evil that Alex Jones has acted like he's been speaking out against, the eye of Sauron evil, in his eyes, I see that twinkle. I see that sparkle of Archon energy. Okay, so having said that, and for a lot of us, having seen the deceptions that he's been involved in, his associations, not to mention having Tucker Carlson on his show, Michael Savage on his show, propping up Lou Dobbs as a liberty person, now seeing Lou Dobbs endorse the statements of Trump. And we can also potentially look at the CNP, which I've never thought there was anything to the CNP, the Council on National Policy. But there may be something potentially there. I want to focus in this video on, once we come to an awareness that he's leading his followers into a trap now, looking at his false predictions, of which we should go over a few of them. And there's other people on YouTube that have documented the failed Alex Jones predictions. And that's something to be aware of. So once we become aware of the current deception, how many other deceptions, how many other disinformation stories have been published at Infowars.com? How much of the news has been slanted to bait people into, the divide and conquer, racial divide over the illusions of separation? Quite a bit of it. He's actually been doing this for many, many years. But he got a pass from his listeners and many others because it was all under the guise of fighting the New World Order. He always did a certain amount of things to kind of redeem himself. He's a very charismatic, he's a very entertaining, he being a versatile person with many gifts, the spirit inside Alex Jones, the photographic memory, Alex Jones work 16 hours a day, Alex Jones. The Alex Jones, the actor, Alex Jones, the comedian, Alex Jones, the revolutionary, Alex Jones, the patriot, Alex Jones, the Alex Jones that talks to God and cries for the children. We'll go over some of his crying videos later in a future video, including the supposed Alex Jones crying on the day of 9/11 video. And then we can look at that video and ask ourselves, how legitimate those videos actually appear now in hindsight. Looking at other videos where he's pretending to be the North Koreans, crying after the death of Kim Jong-il. He's making fun of them, so we know what Alex Jones looks like when he's pretending to cry, and then we compare that to the other videos where he's acting as if he's crying for real. Making Glenn Beck look more legitimate by comparison in that sense. So for years, people have wanted to know how someone could be on the air to talk about supposed real issues and be very close to the truth and be allowed on the air and be invited to the BBC, CNN, the mainstream media as a regular guest. For years, people have gone, well, this guy is intentionally being promoted by CNN. Also, CNN included bits of Alex Jones freaking out on Piers Morgan in their best of commercial, which followed shortly after the Piers Morgan interview. It's something that I personally noted and went, yeah, that's promoting Alex Jones. That's CNN promoting Alex Jones. We can also look back to 2006 when Alex Jones initially hooked up with Charlie Sheen and they did that bit with Showtime Today. Or it's known by another name. And I remember playing that clip on my show, being very proud of Alex Jones, seeing this as an accomplishment for 9/11 Truth. Now in hindsight, seeing how many facts about 9/11 Alex Jones got wrong, but never really calling him out on it because, well, maybe he just was having a rough day. He's an emotional guy. I identify with that. But it wasn't the same factual Alex Jones that was presented or that came across as well researched in his documentary films and on some, not all, but some radio shows. But in many of his mainstream media appearances, has Alex Jones really done his best, with the exception of some of the shows with George Norrie? Some of those actually were very good back in the day. Again, the older Alex Jones in some ways presented himself to the public in a far more coherent, a far more understandable individual. But on a lot of the mainstream interviews, he has gotten his facts wrong. When Coulter was on his show, he said 9 of the suspected 18 to 19 hijackers were discovered alive. And other claims he made, it was 7. The BBC initial report did not cite, however, 9. And that's like one example of hundreds that I've personally noticed where he gets the facts about 9/11 wrong. Or he'll go in like a whole new direction in other rants. And when called out about his statements about 9/11, for a person that's made multiple documentary films, he has done a very poor job, like 1 star out of 5. Just flipping out, inside job, Cheney did it, NORAD stand down, and acting like you're in the WE. I'd like to see him pitch that just for my own entertainment purposes and also for many others in the WE. Yeah, just get up on stage and get in the face of stone cold Steve Austin, a scumbag. Maybe Vince McMahon, the devil of professional wrestling himself, and tell them they serve the devil. Because people like that clearly do. They clearly are on stage acclimating people towards this evil and, everything that the WE represents. But Alex Jones is like another version of that professional wrestling character. We've seen it for years. It's just that he came across as being more legitimate in the past. Now we can understand why he's played out that character and his association with Jesse Ventura. If only Roddy Piper talked to more people in the alternative media about what They Live was really about, other than just going on the Alex Jones show before he died. Seeing as Alex Jones already has such a great monopoly over the alternative media and conspiracy theory, if you will. And see, that's not good. It's not good when the mainstream media thinks, oh, independent thought, conspiracy theory, Alex Jones. It's not a good sign that his audience at the moment, his followers, that they're not able to see that the mainstream media is promoting Alex Jones and owning Alex Jones. And that Alex Jones, when he goes on these shows, he does not come armed with facts. It's not the same Alex Jones in the early days would create like a fact list when he went on George Norrie. I have a fact list to go with martial law, rise of the police state. That was the old Alex Jones that would try to back up some of his statements. Now it's just ISIS base in Mexico. Yeah. Raises another question. How far are we away then from the real shit hitting the fan? If Alex Jones is just coming out, just basically telegraphing that he's working with the enemy, so to speak, that he's not the same Alex Jones, or that he's not thinking in his right mind. Not to mention that his physical health is obviously not up to par, despite the fact that he sells supposed health and wellness products. You know, on the topic of that, he has also been a bad example to men. The phony tough guy persona. The bully persona. You know, you can look at the tape of him pushing Michelle Malkin's bodyguard. You can look back at the tape in 2007 or 8, where he's literally pushing the guy saying, peace, 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 when he's confronting Michelle Malkin because she wrote about putting Americans in camps if they were considered to be the enemy of the state. And fast forward today and look at Alex Jones's association with Donald Trump, who represents that fascist ideology. And you tell me how Alex Jones can be for real when you can go from that to that. And for years, Alex Jones specifically warning about them using the threat of Islamic terrorism to create a police state in this country. For the bulk of his career, even before 9/11, he talked about that. He did on Access TV in June or July of 2001. In hindsight, so did Alex Jones have advanced knowledge of 9/11? Was he co-opted all the way back then? And I'm just raising the question. I don't have the answer. I do not have the answer, only to say that such ideas, to me, seemed ridiculous years ago because of all the good that he did. Now, with what he is doing now, and there are attacks, by the way, on innocent Muslims, women, leaving mosques, and I said on this channel, you're going to see a rise in attacks on female Muslims. And the New World Order is really about creating an unsafe world for women. But the way that it divides and conquers, it divides by race. That's how people are kept in line and under control. The illusions of separation. Alex Jones has never used his platform to really bring people together. He's never really brought on guests from around the world, other than Syrian girl. I mean, and other than that general in Pakistan, what Persians or Arabs has Alex Jones had on his show? Years ago, if you talk to people about Muslims being demonized or this racist agenda, I mean, there's many Alex Jones listeners and fans that get it. They have demonized brown people. But the character of Alex Jones, who appears to be a schizophrenic, at least his character, although people that have worked for him have described him to be schizophrenic, he has somehow conditioned his current listeners and followers that you can be aware of 9/11 being an inside job, but also see all Muslims as a threat at the same time. That's crazy. That's crazy, and that's programming, where you get yourself into the spot of be the main point to go-to spear of the info war for conspiracy, discussing false flags, to only turn around and tell your millions of followers and listeners and viewers that Trump is for real, that Trump is our only hope. The last great white hope, Donald Trump. Now, this would also be a good time to say that it is so obviously, in a way, it's like it's staged, this Trump thing, to make Americans, it plays a huge role in the demonization of the American image. And other people see this, that aren't in on the conspiracy, that may be very well alive in Donald Trump and possibly Alex Jones to demonize the American image. So people obviously are going, where the fuck is this coming from? How is this going to make anything better? Republicans are saying this. Democrats are saying this. And yet the one guy that was supposedly the, hey, I'm trying to warn you about the enemy, Alex Jones, whatever his real background is, whatever his real spiritual or religious beliefs are, be it Freemasonic, I don't see him as being a real Christian. He does use Masonic language and symbolism for some reason. He's tried to project himself as being the light side of the light dark war within Freemasonry, which many people have talked about for years. I don't think he's on the light side of Freemasonry. He may have thought he was, but he's not. But when you see Alex Jones supposedly wake so many people up for so many years and then tried to literally push them over the cliff, go, hey, look, follow me with my megaphone. I'm going to jump over this cliff into a pit of burning fire. I'm going to go to hell. And I'm going to invite all of you listeners to go to hell with me and trap your souls. Muslims are the enemy. Maybe we need a police state. Maybe you need to fight in World War III. Fight the enemy. Sacrifice yourselves. And if we go back in the old tapes of Alex Jones, go back and listen to the Alex Jones singing over the Metallica For Whom the Bell Tolls video. Used to be one of my favorites. But I always found the conclusion of that rant over the music bit, which was really great for its time, ultimately I found it disturbing. Alex Jones screams over and over, sacrifice yourself. And I was just like, wow, man, I really want to share this thing with people. But when you get to the end and you start screaming to sacrifice yourself, I'm going to come across as a cult member. By sharing this with other people, by syndicating your insanity. I mean, you take something great, you take a meme and a rock song and you rant over it, We're not gonna take it. Metaphorically speaking, but yeah, Twisted Sister, apparently they are taking it, and they are letting Trump use their "we're not gonna take it" song. But that aside, that's neither here nor there. What is the point is that you have Alex Jones using that Metallica song, For Whom the Bell Tolls, and he's singing along with it bit by bit, line by line, and ad-libbing. And then he takes it to that dark place of sacrificing yourself on the altar. And it's like, whoa, dude. Seriously, back the fuck up. And it's that type of shit that prevented Alex Jones from becoming really big a long time ago. That wacky stuff that he throws in. Where he's screaming about, taking big, bloody chunks out of the enemy. He's talking about fighting the cops. He's talking about fighting the cops, fighting the military. And yet he's been allowed to remain on the radio this whole time. And, Planet InfoWars, join the dating site. We all know that's a database. At one point, Alex Jones was visited by the FBI. Perhaps it was related to the Sean Fitzgerald murder of his father and other things that allegedly involved InfoWars listeners, crime, shootings. Of course, all of us automatically saw all those as staged events to set up the great Alex Jones. Alex Jones being martyred. They're setting him up. I'm not so sure at this point that all of them were setups, because now I can see that there are a certain amount of InfoWars listeners that are, and this is a little bit frightening, they believe everything that Alex Jones says about Muslims, about all illegal immigrants, for example. And also I want to highlight that if you highlight the insanity, the propaganda, they say you're a Democrat. They say you're for illegal immigration. They say you're a Muslim apologist. They say you're trying to be politically correct if you care about the victims of war. This is like the psychology that's taking place. You're a libtard if you have feelings. You remember the old thing back in the day, they go, bleeding heart liberal. Yes, if you have any feelings, you're a bleeding heart liberal. Meanwhile, those on the left are programmed to call independent thinkers racist Republicans. I've never voted Republican in my life, but they'll do that. And so by doing that, you're balkanizing. You are picking a lesser of two evils in your little paradigm of the system and its Republican Party. With all this rhetoric, if you're not with us, you're against us, And we could see way back when, I'll go over that clip again, but you can see it in the Alex Jones deception in the last part 8. You can see how he talks to Catherine Bleich in Austin, Texas, at the gun show rally. Him accusing her, of all people, of being a Democrat or COINTELPRO, because she's confronting him for yelling over everyone with a megaphone, which is a what? A metaphor. We're going to highlight that video because that is a metaphor for Alex Jones, the Alex Jones Archon virus of disinformation on the internet, shouting over everyone else's information. If you do not worship Alex Jones, you're a non-believer, you're a heretic. You might as well be his political enemy, not only blacklisted, but viewed in his semi-schizophrenic, paranoid mind. So whether Alex Jones is doing this because he's an agent, or because he's become partially mentally ill, or because he could be influenced by something else, mind control. Whatever is the cause of the new Alex Jones, the walk-in. It's almost as if the dude's being controlled by remote control from somewhere. I know that's out there. Still, I'm going to propose the idea in this video podcast series. Regardless of the cause, he is not someone to be trusted at this point. And that does not mean that everything that Alex Jones has put out there has been disinformation. We can take a closer look at his information, but I'll tell you what, I do see China and Russia as a threat down the line, but Alex Jones was discussing this stuff years ago. Was he deliberately discussing things in advance to discredit the threat itself by crying wolf in advance and citing fake reports? Because now, when we are at the, he talks about the possibility of World War III within the paradigm of U.S. bad, Russia good. And that's a deception. That is a deception. And that is evidence to me that he is leading his followership over a cliff in the World War III scenario. That Alex Jones is potentially playing an incredibly dark role, knowingly, preparing America for its own occupation, and playing a role very similar to RT, building up a huge audience, to the tune of millions, with the aid of Google, with the aid of YouTube, with the aid of other financial donors, with ties to major corporations and government, only to prepare them for a massive deception once they pull the lever. I see RT and Alex Jones, as well as Sputnik News, set to play a huge role. I mean, half the time Sputnik News is like, here's what Russia has, here's what China has. Isn't it great? There's all these weapons that are out there. U.S. dominance is about to go down. The beast of the East is about to rise. No, there's nothing to celebrate about more war. And there is something evil when there is a threat coming from major superstate nations to apologize for Putin, to not talk about China and the role that they're going to play. So obviously you can see that there's nothing healthy about listening to Alex Jones. Now that the threat of World War III is more likely than ever before, he's going for the Islamic invasion theory. And we can see how this is working on a certain amount of his followers, and a certain amount are not buying the propaganda. A certain amount are not drinking the Kool-Aid. But for me personally, before I go forward with any more reports on my own, I am going to continue this Alex Jones Deception podcast series, or video series rather. And it's important that people deprogram from Alex's influence. A very important point that I need to make is that a big part of his influence, a big part of the message over the years has, to really illustrate the fear-mongering. Imprinting his audience with such a nightmarish scenario, with consequences, of course, if they end up on the list and they get a visit, of course, from the government. You could find old clips where he's saying that 9 out of 10 are going to die. He's like, I'm going to die, you're going to die. And then for many years, he pushed the meme that 90% of the world's population was set to be exterminated. And they were set to be exterminated several years ago in the Alex Jones timeline. That level of programming is so dark and so demonic. It can lead people to complete inaction. And the end result is mind control. And so you also have to look at the fact that this is like one of the most extreme of extremism, as far as like the government and the ways that they would categorize something. You have a person that is making a declaration that the government is preparing for a mass death camp scenario. And he did point the finger at Obama many, many times. And I'm not pro-Obama. I see his role in the New World Order, not any more or less than any other puppet, but in a way he did play a greater role than Bush, in my opinion, with the financial sabotage and the banker bailouts and the expansion of wars in the Middle East. And by the way, on the anniversary of the invasion, the attack of Iraq, I believe it was 3/19. They went into Iraq on 3/19, 2003. Obama hit Libya a week after Fukushima on 3/19, 2011, just showing us Obama has been right in line. But do I see Obama the Muslim as a Muslim? As doing this for black people or whatever it is that Obama's doing? Is he anti-white? It's like he's promoted all the wacky theories about Obama. Now the links between Obama and Wall Street, Obama and the military-industrial complex are right on. But taking things to like a Mad Magazine, The Onion level, is more evidence of someone trying to misdirect and create something racial about it. And in hindsight, and looking at Alex Jones putting on the Joker makeup and that whole spectacle of Obama the Joker and how extreme he acted, we can see how, like with others, Alex Jones has pulled his punches perhaps on Obama in some ways. We can see how some people have given Bush cover by going in some really bizarre areas, but not actually exposing them for what they are. And we look at also the connection between Ted Cruz and Alex Jones. Not just Trump, but Alex Jones and Ted Cruz. Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson. Michael Savage. Pat Buchanan of the CMP. And many others. And so, yeah, we can see how he has played the left-right paradigm himself, even though he has acted like he has exposed the left-right paradigm. He has to a degree. He's helped make people aware of it. And as crazy as this may sound to you, he's also helped keep people in it, as well as in the illusions of separation, white versus black. The United States and the world of Islam. In the way that he is getting on board and befriending others that are marginalizing billions of people on the planet. That should show you. That should be enough evidence that Alex Jones is working for the dark side. Now, commentary on some of the videos that he's doing when he gets pumped up and acts like he's possessed. We need to go back and we need to highlight those clips another time. But it's important that people contemplate, the effect on the listeners. If Alex Jones is the embodiment of an evil spirit, and he's animating that evil spirit, going in a channel, going kill, 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 and he's basically describing or channeling what kind of world the Archons want to create for humans. He's imprinting energetically his audience in a fairly sophisticated way. So deprogramming from Alex Jones, turning off Alex Jones, it's not just about the information and what he's saying. It's about the energy he's projecting. It's about the subliminal and over-influence over the minds of his listeners. His very voice itself has an energetic effect. And so I will be back in the part 10 and we will continue this conversation. There's so much more to talk about, but I'm just going to share it in pieces. I'm Alex Ansary signing off for December 15th, 2015 from New Mexico.